Right.
So
Sounds like we have a helicopter approaching.
I think we're good. Let's see. I think we're good for now. So let's just start off with your name and your relationship with the organization.
My name is Fritz Steiger, and I was the first president of Texas Public Policy Foundation and helped Dr. Leininger start the organization starting in 1989.
And so how did you get involved? How did that come to be?
Well, it's an interesting story because Jim had hired me to help on a political campaign back in 1988 when he got interested in the Supreme Court races. And when he finished that race, we were successful in electing 4 out of 6 candidates to the Texas Supreme Court. And he turned to me and he said, "Fritz, what else can we do to make Texas a better place?" And I said, "I don't know, but I'll find out." And I ended up going to Washington, D.C. and talked to the people at the Heritage Foundation, only to find out that there was a state public policy movement afoot in our country. I came back to him, and it's a great story if you allow me a minute to tell it, but came back to him and made a presentation to him. And he sat and listened very quietly, and at the end of my presentation he turned around to a credenza and he pulled out a file folder with an article from 1986, U.S. News and World Report, and it was an article about the Heritage Foundation. And he handed it to me, and I glanced at it and I saw what it was. And at the top of it he had written, "Texas needs one of these!" exclamation point. And with that he said, "I'll fund it if you'll run it." And so that was the beginning of Texas Public Policy.
Wow, so it was. Now, did you get connected with State Policy Network from the beginning? Were they around at that point yet?
Yes, no, it was a couple of years later. It was 1991. I was a founding board member of State Policy Network. There were only about 8 or 9 state groups around the country, and Texas was one of them, and so I helped start that group.
So TPPF was really a trailblazer of a movement.
They really were, and I think like I said, there were probably a handful of others, but we grew very fast, and we took on a strong leadership role at State Policy Network as well.
So tell me about the evening tonight, what it's about.
Well, it's really a celebration of a vision that Dr. Leininger had even before I came up with. I thought it was an original idea when I took it to him, but he'd had this vision in his heart and his mind, and he knew that Texas needed something like that. And so the vision was cast in 1989 when he hired me to start the foundation. And with his funding and with my efforts to start to pull together people from around the state who would come into agreement with what we were trying to do, who understood the vision and who embraced that vision, we began the slow process of putting this organization together. So 25 years later, the vision is still very firm. It was written, and people are still running with the vision. And so this is a celebration of that 25 years. And so it really is the beginning of a new era, though, I think. This is for the next generation. Those that have come before us now have invested a lot of time, a lot of effort to get us to where we are, but there's a new era beginning tonight.
And so tell me what the role of the new building plays in that new era.
Well, I think it's important that the TPPF have a presence in Austin, and they've had one for a number of years. Of course, we started out just down the street at Five Corners in a little building. It was a restaurant supply building that Dr. Leininger owned, and it had several other businesses in there. And so we didn't stay there very long because it was, quite frankly, a little dangerous. It wasn't because the people on the left were coming in harassing us. It was really because of some homeless people who were coming in to harass the secretaries. And so we ended up moving to another office space. But I think having a building in Austin is important to show we're here for the long term, and TPPF is not going away.
What has TPPF meant for the state of Texas and for freedom?
Well, I think it's all about ideas. When we started out, we said ideas have consequences. And we ran into a lot of resistance from people who didn't understand really what that meant. But what TPPF has been able to do is to provide the opinion leaders and the opinion makers with ideas that can then be implemented into legislative action that can really change the state. And as Dr. Leininger said, make Texas a better place.
Can you tell me a little bit about Brooke Rollins and about the current leadership of the organization?
Brooke Rollins is doing a fantastic job. She is the right person for this organization at this time, and she has provided just incredible energy and leadership and talent in recruiting a team of top-notch people that are all just in tune with her. They just are excited about what they're doing, and I've never seen something quite as impressive as what she's put together.
Why is Texas so important for the country?
Well, Texas is a bellwether state. You know, it's a large state. It's been a huge leader in the states over the years, ever since it became a state. And so, you know, people look to Texas and they want to know, you know, what is Texas doing about this? And a lot of the programs, in fact, there's been 3 or 4 that have really been launched out of Texas public policy that are national programs now. A school choice program, a judicial reform, a criminal justice, other programs that have really gone national because of what TPPF has been able to do.
How would you summarize the future of TPPF?
Well, it's a new era, and I think TPPF is, you know, started out as a very small organization, not having a lot of impact. They're probably the most influential conservative group in the state today. I think the next 50 years, you're going to see TPPF become even stronger, produce more ideas, and really turn this country around, not just in Texas, but it will provide the leadership for our country as well.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to let you get back. That was great.
You bet.
All right.